All right. Well, welcome back to part two. We had a,
Maybe.
we took a 10-minute break according to Zoom rules. And
Refill my red.
yeah. I went upstairs also. And then the first part finished converting to recording, so that's good. But anyways, I'm gonna share the screen again. And Jeff, if he watches this, he was right. I was wrong. I needed more than 40 minutes. I thought I was so no, that's not what I want. Uh, no, let's. I guess I got to get this going first. Uh, okay, come on. Usually gives me choices. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're just right back where we left off with the hitters, with the Otani section, his own section. All right. And then choose a certain number of pitchers here. But yeah, so Bizotti has Jose Barrios, and he has 99 points. So two more points than
Yeah, I checked it out. Yeah, I looked it up while we were on break.
yeah.
Two
So
more points than Mookie Betts.
so we haven't had pitchers out pointing hitters in a long time. I don't know, maybe back to what was that pitcher's name? Pitched for the Cubs. He had a great year, 2016,
Oh, yeah.
15.
Starts with that Arrieta, Jake
Oh, yeah,
Arrieta.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, but anyway, so now we got
Yeah, the
pitchers that are
leaderboard's pretty split. There's a lot of starting pitchers up on the top of that leaderboard, but it's pretty even. It's intermixed.
yeah. So Glass now for you for Satch, and then Daddy says two in a row. Ronald Blanco, and Zach Gallen.
Yeah, they got the baby cakes. Um, Blanco, man.
An old friend,
I
and a
mean, I
new
guess
friend.
you pitch 12 no-hit innings or however many he did in a row, and you'll get some points. That's
Yeah.
a heck of a pickup for Jeff.
And then Gallen, who Jeff saw down in New Orleans, as we know. Anyways, Christian Javier for Hack. See, this is good to look at this because I'm so concentrating my own team and who's available. Sometimes I don't even know who's doing well for other if they're gone. Christian Javier, I had no idea. And then knockers have Paul Blackburn and Cody Bradford.
Got some
I think
bargain bin guys up there. Blanco, Blackburn, and Bradford. You got the cheapo guys. I'm sure none of those guys is more than a buck.
Bradford might have just gone on the IL. Do you know?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
So Lorenzen's pitching today.
And then Corbin Burns for the Gags, Reed Detmers for Spears, Seth Lugo for you, for Satch. And, things like this drive me crazy. This guy always wanted to be a starter with the Mets, and they just decide, no, we're going to let you go, and we're going to sign all these like mediocre guys to take your place. Even Waka, they did, they didn't have him for long, but they had him. Or
It's
Bassett
the
even.
year of the converted relievers, though. I mean, early on, Garrett Crochet. I would say it wrong. And Ronaldo Lopez down in Atlanta. You got
Yeah,
a guy out there for the Angels are trying it out with a pitcher that used to be in their closer mix.
Soriano,
Yeah, there's a few guys. I think there's a
Jordan
Chase
Hicks for the
Anderson.
Giants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a trend of like, hey, sure, let's get. I think Strider helped out with that too, showing that with two really good pitches, you can get a lot done.
So
I think it's the combo of like Strider being successful as a starter with just two quality pitches and being like, you know what, you're old enough. Let's just see, you blow out your arm, you blow out your arm.
Singer and Reagan's for wait till next year. So nice
Reagan's
pickup for
that's the
wait.
guy that Kimler's sorry to cut you off. That's the guy that Kimler's really burnt out that he didn't protect him.
Yeah,
Old
wait.
Reagan's.
Nice pickup for wait, and also nice to see KC make good on a trade. Wasn't it just like a Roldis for him? I don't know if there's other players, but
It was, yeah, to the World Series champs. But
you turn somebody, you know, a Roldis who may or may not have much left into a guy that could be, your ace. I mean, that's pretty nice. And I don't want to jinx him because the way things go. Reagan's will be out. for the year in a couple of weeks, the way things are. But that looks as good as it can get, right? And it's KC, which is probably why the White Sox wanted to hire as many Kansas City executives as they could and follow the KC method, because
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but anyways, but that was a good move. Jordan Hicks, there we go. That's the converted reliever
There you go.
for Knockers. And then relievers, I just put a few in here. Clay Holmes, who's racking up saves for Hack, and Jason Foley. So here's a guy, I think during our auction, Alex Lang was the closer of the Tigers, right? And now he's like,
Yeah, it's the one everybody thought that he'd be, and a few people were speculating on the ex Cardinal as well, but it's Jason Foley.
there he is. I know I tried to get him in the AL Roto League I'm in because I have no saves in that league so far. And but it is so competitive. I couldn't get him. I couldn't get him. I picked
Too
like
early to
eight.
punt.
Was it?
Too early to punt saves.
Well, I don't want to punt because there's about three or four of us that don't have any. So I figure if I can get
Oh,
a
okay.
few, I could be
Yeah.
in the middle or something.
Hmm.
So, but
Yeah, just get
Foley,
some good setup guys, right?
yeah, but we don't get holds. So it's just all saves. So
Well, you begin K's. Like they get a few more wins now. Now that you get the Ghost Runner, those high leverage guys, closers included, but setup guys too, get a lot more. They get a few more W's a year now because of the
yeah,
Ghost
wins
Runner.
maybe. Yeah, we don't have Ks. We have innings pitched. So,
But
but
the ratios they help with that.
yeah, but I just want saves. I mean, I want a handful. I picked up Stanek because he's maybe co-closer in Seattle now. I have him in the beer league now too, so I don't mind talking about him.
Yeah,
But
yeah. He's
I
kind
just
of
want
doing
to
the
get
role
one
of the
save.
Arizona guy. He's in Sewald's role last year, where he'll get some.
Ginkle?
He'll get like 30% or something. Well, no, I mean, well, they traded Sewald last year in Seattle to
Oh, Seattle.
Arizona.
Yeah,
He's hurt right
Munoz,
now, but that was the role
Munoz,
that
Stanek,
Stanek's kind of in now.
Brash on the IL. So I don't know what's going to happen
Hmm.
when he comes back. And then here's your guy, Robert Suarez, Evan Phillips for the Knockers. Pretty nice to have the Dodgers closer, right? They're going to win a few games. And then
Chris has to be relieved to finally have one good reliever. He spent
relieved,
all last
right?
year trying to find one.
And then Ryan Helsley for Let's Play, and then Daniel Hudson. Nobody even wants him.
He's
So,
he's lighting it
also,
up.
also for the Dodgers.
You got to win in it helps. You got to win in that Korea series.
So these are all guys that are on the IL that are ranked 1 through 360 in the Yahoo preseason rankings. So, but this is Bake's list. I'm gonna have to like minimize this a little bit so we can see everybody on there. Whoops. Um,
And what is it that we're looking at, Lou? What
so
is
this is
this?
this is everybody that's on the IL ranked from
Oh,
1
okay.
to 360 on Yahoo's preseason ranking.
Oh, yeah, I know. Doug's really though he really got hurt. I mean, that Strider thing right up to Luis Robert. Senga got in the preseason. Josh Young went down. Sandy
Yeah.
Alcantara went. I think that might have been a
Alcantara,
purchase at
this
the
is different because
auction.
he was expected to be out. So that's not but
Yeah,
that's kind of reflecting this that he was only 344. So I
yeah,
did 360 minus your ranking to give you like your misery points or whatever.
yeah.
So, but yeah, he's
He's got a
missing
lot of misery points.
Johan since the beginning of the year. Royce Lewis, he played his customary 4 games. He got hurt or whatever it was. Josh Lowe's been out since the beginning of the year. Strider's out for the year now. Luis Roberts gonna be out for a while. Kodai Senga got hurt, I think, after the auction, or at least after our protected list, but before the season, so he hasn't pitched. Josh Young is out for a while too. I mean, it might be June, right? I don't know
Probably
when.
got about 7 more weeks, something like that.
Yeah, we need Jeff here. This is his area of expertise. But you can see, so the misery index according to this is 1379 for the McBrides. These aren't in order, but I think it's just alphabetical order. Bizzotti's misery index 375, missing Eloy. Scherzer, who was expected to be out. Matt McLean, who I think was out after our auction. So this is a full misery count.
Yeah,
And
that hurts.
Yuri.
And Yuri went out too. Yeah.
Yeah. So knockers, misery index a little lower. If Trevor Story out for the year, that doesn't help. Gratterall, I don't know how
Oh,
big.
they announced this for the year now, huh? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what I saw. And Gratterall, I don't know how big a thing that is, but it's 50 misery points according to Yahoo rankings. But according to us, that would have been a borderline roster rule guy probably
And
anyway.
Eduardo, yeah, they knew that he was going to start the season hurt, so
And then Eduardo, so let's
that's
see.
not bad.
Gambler Spears, misery index 288, so modest anyway. Brandon Lowe, Kershaw, who was expected to be out, so that's why it's only 301 ranking, and Shohei, the pitcher, who's going to be out for the whole year. So this is not really misery. This was by plan. Same with
No,
Monahan and Rasmussen. So a lot of Spears stuff was looking toward next year anyway. So this is not a good measure of the misery. It was strategy, not misery.
yeah, maybe need the guys that got hurt after the start of the season or after the auction or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I like the misery points concept because you got to know how much you're hurting.
So Garrett Cole, obviously, that's a big misery thing because that was after the auction. And then Tommy
Mhm.
Edman, who look at, he has like almost as many misery points as Garrett Cole relatively, and I think that Cole would probably hurt more than Edman, right? You could
Yeah,
replace
I think
Edman.
so.
You could replace Edman easier than Garrett Cole.
Yeah,
So,
it depends when you pulled those rankings, I suppose.
well, these are preseason, so they won't change supposedly.
Yeah, but Cole's preseason would probably be closer to like
Oh yeah, yeah. See,
10,
that's the thing.
20,
Yeah,
you
that
know.
preseason was after our auction, so yeah, that's another big limitation on the misery index. So
But it's a good one for next year. We'll get a preseason
that day,
ranking thing
yeah,
in.
the day of our auction, and hopefully our
I love
auction
it.
won't have to be so damn early. But if they keep playing these international games, it might still be like that. All right, so here's Let's Play. Framber, is out after the start of the year. I know that because I have him in my AO roto, so that sucks. Bobby Miller, Jordan Romano hasn't pitched yet this year, and he's coming back very soon, I think. Jake Berger just went on the IL. So Jerry Reinsdorf is like, see, I told you. He can't
Yeah,
see.
Bradish, he broke the bank for because it was an error on my part. Too many beers and shots at the auction, and I meant to match him at the end for $1, and nobody threw him out. And then when I had the last 4 picks or something, I forgot about Bradish, and so he was a free agent. And John, I think he spent like $50 or 50 of his fab or something to get Bradish, or 48 or something.
So
And so
after,
that's why he's got Bradish. Yeah. So it's definitely like a mistake on my part, and he's making me pay. But we'll see.
and Swanson, who I think same deal with Romano, is going to come back to the bullpen. I don't know when. I think Romano's coming back first, and then Robert Stevenson, who's
Oh boy, that's not looking like a very good contract, man. They shut him down again from he pitched a couple pitches in a rehab, and they shut him down again.
but
Like
only
shoulder pain.
only 2 points in the misery index. Again, this is
Okay.
360 minus their
Yeah,
preseason.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
And a reliever, it's so based on your expected role, it's hard to tell.
and if I could have gotten these preseason rankings the day that we had our auction, that would be much more
That would
interesting,
be the one.
much less flawed anyway. So Kepler for me, Brent Rooker, I just picked them up, so I feel
Oh
almost
yeah.
counting this as a misery. And then Shane Bieber, this is true misery. But
B.E.R hurts, but that probably should be more like 300 misery points for him.
isn't this weird? This
I
is
love
preseason, and he got hurt after the start of the year. So Yahoo had him ranked that low going into the year. I guess they knew that he was going to get hurt, and I've heard other
him.
people say that too. So I didn't bid accordingly. I poached him, I think. And then for paging Dr. Satchel, Sean Murphy went down early. Shane
Yeah.
Baz is yet to pitch, right? Felix Bautista is yet to pitch. Same with Spring. So this is kind of like a gambler spear misery.
I don't want to jump your rundown, but later on we're gonna mention the deal that I swung with Let's Play 162 with Murphy on the bench. I sent him the pitcher from Boston with an
How?
H, Hauk, Tanner
Yep.
Hauk, yeah. was looking pretty good, and his pitching's kind of been devastated. You'll see well, you saw some of his injuries and stuff, and he picked up that catcher for the Cardinals, who I think's looking pretty good, Ivan Herrera.
Herrera? Yeah.
And thinking that he's going to get a lot of stuff. I think people were like, no, he's just going to be a backup, but I think he might get half to 60% of the starts, and Contreras will DH a lot. But we'll see. But he's sure hitting the ball hard. He's a Statcast monster right now,
They both
and he was
righties?
in the minor. I think they are both righties,
Yeah.
and they've been playing them together a bit. So I asked him because I was the only other one that bid on him. He bid three. I think I bid like a buck. Um, and I said, "What are you gonna do with four catchers?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I don't know. My pitching stinks." And I was like, "Okay, how about this guy? You want to get rid of one of them?" So I got Cal Raleigh, who was last year's number 4 catcher. So
Yeah.
happy with it. I think Halk will be a good addition for him. Hopefully, it helps us both out.
Yeah. Raleigh's a productive guy. I mean, he's a low average guy, but beer league points, he's a productive guy.
Yeah,
Sombrero's got Braxton Garrett on the misery index.
he's on his way back.
That was a trade with me, I think. I don't think it was a poach. Devin Williams, of course. And then
Yeah, that back's gonna be tricky.
Vaughn Grissom, he'll be back soon, I hear, right? Very soon.
That's what they're saying. I really like Grissom in Boston, and I think he's gonna do really well with the wall there. He seems like tailor made his game for that park.
I wonder where he's going to play. I mean, like, you'd think shortstop because Story's out, but I don't know. I guess his fielding is not thought of highly. I don't know. Maybe he'll play second. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I bet you they put him back at second, but that's just a guess. We'll see.
I know the Red Sox have the young shortstop who I don't think is a big prospect, David Hamilton. He's a lefty hitter.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
attractive,
he just came up. He's a better fielder.
but they still have. I always get these guys mixed up. Marcelo Meyer, is that the Red Sox guy?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got to be, unless his stock has fallen, he's gonna get a chance, right?
Uh, yeah, you wonder. I don't know if they're just if they think they want him to earn his way up because I don't think he's on the roster right now.
I think he's still only like 21 or something. He's young. I think.
Yeah, he's down there. So I was mentioning the cows and their inning pitch underage. But Verlander is coming back this week, supposedly. Bueller's got maybe one more rehab start as well, so I hear. Gavin Williams just started throwing again today. He had a shoulder thing. Taj Bradley, I haven't heard anything about him, and of course Woodruff's out for the year. But when you look at that inning pitch, like that's 3 studs to bring out for the
I didn't.
cows. So don't
I
don't
didn't know
expect
they
them
were
to be in the
coming.
cellar forever.
Yeah, I didn't know they were coming back that soon. So better
Yeah,
times ahead for the
Verlander
cows.
Friday, I think.
Yeah, better times ahead for the cows.
I'll do my best Jeff impression.
All right, so that's all I got. So
All right. That's interesting stuff. I really like the misery index. So this is this is light years. I actually sent you something, but I should have done it ahead of time. It was just a couple screenshots of comparing people's projected WOBA from Bad X versus their WOBA so far. So it was like, qualified hitters, the top dudes that were stinking to start the year, and the guys that were playing way over their heads. It was an interesting way to look at it. So maybe you'll catch it afterwards. I don't know that I can share on the screen. Otherwise, I'd throw a couple names out. People could feel they could see their guy up there and be like, "Oh yeah, he is thinking." um, but I don't know if I don't think I can do screen stuff
let's
on here.
see.
I'm not
I
well
think you
versed.
can. I think you can. Yeah, because I
What's
share
that?
with Jeff.
Oh, it's that share thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if I do something like that,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that there for you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, these are the guys that are um stinking. Okay, let me
It's
get
the
back
wrong
to it.
screen now.
I got it now. I figured it. I think I sorted it out now. Took me a second though. Um,
It was on the right screen at first, and now it's not the
yeah,
right screen.
A little tricked by my hoisted by my own confusion on here. Oh, I see what I have to do. Okay, I gotta open it up and then share it. I see. Okay. Basically the thing is just kind of shows the guys that are really like stinking and the guys that are really like off to a hot start, like way over their head, like Mookie Betts and stuff like that. See if I
Yeah, Betts is
can.
playing way over his head. That guy sucks. No, you meant the opposite, probably, right?
No, no, yeah. I did mean the opposite. I said the opposite as well. Yeah, no, he's really, really like, man, it's just otherworldly that he can do all that. It's just crazy.
So not only did you mean it, you actually said it too, and I got it wrong.
All right, let's try this one.
Well, I think these
Uh,
first few weeks of the season, this is like when perceptions get like totally out of whack, right? So like some guy is hot and you pick him up, and then a comparison like this will go like maybe you should like you know hold off a little bit on this guy because it's not warranted, like. And certainly, this early, I think, because we've done the league so many years. I mean, you're not going to drop some guy that you would have spent $30 on in March. You're not going to drop him now, because he's hitting, 100. Like Lindor is hitting like barely over 100, I think. But I don't think it would be a good idea to drop him.
yeah, see some weird drops early on though. There's a few folks that do some weird drops. Um, looking weird at it. I mean, there's guys like Julio Rodriguez is way underneath his will. Benintendi, even for not being projected for that much, has been awful. Scott Lindor, Carlos Santana, Byron Buxton is stinking to start off. Castellanos is off to a horrible start. Um, Surprisingly,
Yandy,
not bad for a catcher, but Yandy Diaz is
yeah,
is is off to
Yandy's on the list. Like that'll make Jeff feel better because he was talking about Yandy the other day. But Yandy
yeah.
doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to. I don't think his performance is going to vary as much as some other guys, right? I mean, because like he's not even his production isn't even built like that. It's like if anything, like there's probably people that would, if he wasn't on Tampa, there's people that probably want him to change his approach a little bit so he could lift the ball more and get more, and then that would screw him up, and then he would be, more inconsistent with his production, right? So Yandy does, that's the kind of guy that probably you shouldn't worry about at all.
Yeah, Goldschmidt is a guy who's not really hitting the ball very hard to start the year. I mean, he's Paul Goldschmidt. He's he's done it. He did drive line in the offseason, all that, but he and Arenado are looking a little cooked. I know, but it's too early to say. We're like, what, not even 3 weeks in here. But the Cardinals corners are aging ungracefully to start the season. I'll say that.
So all those guys are unlucky according to X Woba right
Yeah, including at the very bottom. I left him on just to
now.
put it on
Acuna,
there because I'll take an unlucky Acuna over most lucky guys actually
right?
because he's just projected to be so good. But yeah, let me try and do the a different share now. I'll stop my share and try to do the other one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I have Andrew Vaughn
Let's
in
see.
that AL Roto League, and so I maybe he'll do better going forward. So
Right? Maybe,
it's
maybe
funny
I'll
in that
start pulling it out.
in that AL Roto League, I
Um,
spent so much money on pitching and very little on hitting, and I'm actually doing pretty well hitting wise and very mediocre pitching wise. So I think they're both going to even out, and I'll probably end up staying about where I am in that league. I'm in sixth, I think, right now in that league out of 12.
Yikes. I mean, first year in the league, it's a long one. It's just hard. Those benches in those only leagues are really, really tough. Like these guys, you wouldn't even be on the radar in the beer league are like gold. pickup, you know.
that's the biggest adjustment I had. It was like I'm not even looking at abilities now. I'm just looking at like playing time. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm forgetting
You're,
to even look like if the guy's any good. You know, it's like I'm looking
oh,
at
you're,
these, and they have to at least be the starting platoon guy. And I'm
mhm.
not even getting all those guys. I'm getting like righties that are well, so far no righties that are on the bench, but I'm getting righty platoon guys, which is basically, you know, a bench guy, right? He's only going to start during
Yeah, no,
against lefties.
30%. Yeah. You know what it is? It's ambulance chasing in
Yeah,
those
it's
only leagues. You're like just looking for injuries so you can see who I can pick up. It is a little bit ambulance chasing in those
yeah. I
leagues.
mean, I'll say that it's weird because this league that only has the weekly transactions, which I know Hack, Chad has wanted for for years and years and years. And I understand, like it is nice that you just do it all in one fell swoop. But it's weird because after we just had our first waiver period this week, so it was 2.5 weeks that we couldn't even make a change. So I don't, it's like the opposite of the beer league. Beer league's like wild, wild west compared to this league. But even now that we'll be on a normal weekly schedule, it's like you make your moves, you see what you did on Monday, and then why am I going to pay attention until Friday? I don't, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing I can do
Yeah,
until
you
until the
can't even
next
if a
waiver
guy
period.
gets hurt,
So
you're sunk. You can't even put a guy in if he gets hurt, right? You just gotta watch
yeah,
him.
so it's like, the
So
beer league is a much more active experience. I understand that, Roto is much more challenging than the beer league because we have one category, points. That's it. And there's a lot more to keep track of in a Roto league. But the weekly transactions, it is nice in some ways, but I don't there's days I don't even like go on the site, right? Why would I go on from now until Friday? I'm not even probably going to go and see how I'm doing, or if I have time, maybe I'll just, do it for like a few seconds, but I can't change anything anyway.
yeah, you're just looking to look. You're not you can't control anything. You can't change
Yeah.
anything. The application of your time is kind of pointless except for just entertainment value, you
Yeah.
know. So
So the beer league is like,
yeah.
it's a daily, you feel like you're in it every day. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, it's not the beer league. It's a daily transactions league that we're talking about. It's not the beer league specifically, but yeah, that was a real tough thing for me to get used to. I was not prepared for how deep into the player pool these guys go because I thought there would be these guys available at the end that I wouldn't even want that much, and I wish that I could have gotten, and I didn't. So I'm like, I have terrible players on my team, but apparently I'm not doing terrible. I'm like in the middle of the pack right now, but to me it feels awful. Like I can't believe how bad some of the players on my team that how I feel about them. Righty
Right.
bats. Uh,
Well, you
thank
mentioned
goodness.
that Red Sox shortstop, right? And we're
Yeah,
barely remember his name, but he's probably like a hot commodity. Guys want to pick him up. And then
well, I have Correa, so and I didn't have any other shortstops, so I needed to make sure I got a shortstop. So I got him, and I got Kyle Farmer for the Twins. Correa's heard that he'll get more time, during that time period. But these are guys in the beer league that you wouldn't even consider. Like the worst you're going to consider in the beer league is like a lefty guy that's hitting in a platoon because that's almost as good as a starter. I mean, he's going to play against righties, and even starters need to get rest. So it's like just
mm,
one little step below a starter. But I don't
yeah,
want to go lower than that. It's terrible. I don't want bench guys. I want righty platoon guy. And that's what I have in this league. I have a bunch of righty platoon guys. So it was
yeah,
just hard to get used to.
it's almost like a points league, but the only point is plate appearances and innings pitched. You know, it's like it's not exactly, but it's who the person who gets
I'm
the
not
most plate appearances and inning pitched is probably going to be way up in the standings.
I'm not fine tuning it based on so I'll trade this guy to get I'm running out of time again. Um, I'm not like looking at it like I thought I would like extra strategy like I'm going to make a stolen bases for RBI streak. No, I'm just like I don't even care about that. I'm not even looking at the individual components of what they do. I'm just looking at that they have any at bats at all. So
Yeah,
to me, I guess I'm disappointed with it. You know, I, I think I'll do it next year just to see if I do better. But I could see myself not doing this league after that because it's just not my thing, you know. But it was good, you know. I don't know how much time. I guess we don't have much time, but it was good to see how they do things as opposed to us. Like, you know, you can get good ideas from
Mhm.
other leagues. They have the auction. They have their auction with everybody has a certain spot around a conference table, and you have a column that you, when you're in the bidding, it's up, and when you're out, you put it down, and they go around in order. So you don't just shout your bids out whenever you want. It's like you take turns with it. So I thought that
Oh,
was.
okay.
I thought about it for us, and I was like, I don't think that would work for us. You know, like I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think we'd
especially
remember to put our columns down, which I had a bunch of trouble with during the, guys would put it down for me. You know, like I forget. So
yeah. No, it's very it's a quite that's like model UN process or something. But I think we're a little too chaotic for that. But
yeah,
that's interesting to see though. It's interesting to see how the other folks do it for sure.
I
Hey,
like.
did
I
this
guess I
other
prefer
screenshot?
our wild west. Freedom of making moves whenever you want. Basically, very few limits on what you can do. I prefer that. You know, if it's
Yeah.
after the auction, imagine if we had our auction and then for 2.5 weeks you couldn't make any moves and the season was going on. Not what we just did, but like we did our auction right before the season and then no. Oh, okay. We got 8 more minutes. Okay, so I thought that we were done.
Oh
Um,
no. Um, no, I can't tell if these shares work or not. I like on my side. I can only tell like if you tell me. Like, did that share the guys playing over their heads? Just for future
yeah, but
reference.
it's just like small. It's on the right side.
Oh, it's really tiny. Okay. All right. Interesting. Good to know for future reference, I guess. Um,
But I guess enough of the
anyway.
Roto talk. They did one other thing. Hopefully, I'll be really short with it. They do multi-year contracts, which I never wanted for the beer league because I didn't want you to get stuck with a bad contract. But that's not. But you're not stuck. You can opt out of the contract any year. So, and the only penalty you pay is that you paid that extra money and you didn't need to, and then it didn't do any good. So it's interesting for us. We already do the 1 year thing, and
Mhm.
maybe that's what we'll stick with. But I was thinking, I never thought of it that way, that we could do multi-year contracts, but I didn't want you to be tied into a multi-year contract. I didn't want some guy to really put himself in a bad situation and then be like screwed for 5 or 6 years, or what, they only have 3 years. But so anyways,
Yeah.
it's interesting to look at the way other people do things because I didn't understand that enough. I didn't understand it fully, that multi-year
Like
contract.
this year, somebody Doug would have locked in like Strider, right? Or maybe guys would have been like, I'm not going to lock in pitchers to 3 years, but I'll lock in hitters or something.
Yeah, but see,
But then he pitched.
even after the first year, you can just get rid of it, and the only penalty you
Okay.
paid is that increase in salary that when you signed the when you signed him to that. I don't know. It just maybe I can read about things and not understand it fully, right? So like I saw multi-year contracts, I'm thinking like, no, that's no good. I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
But anyways,
Yeah, you gotta see how people use it in the league in practice. Sometimes some of these rules don't make sense until you see them
yeah.
playing out in a league.
But the way this guy runs the league, it's so restrictive. I was like, I am so glad that we don't do it. I want it to be as free as possible, not as restrictive. I mean, for 2.5 weeks after the auction, nobody can make any movies except I think from your reserve roster. But you couldn't, and I was like, what? Why is that? And the guy said it was because my friend that got me in the league said it was because he doesn't want to have people take guys on the IL in the auction on purpose, basically, because
Mhm.
they'll if you do that, then you have to play him for 2.5 weeks or something. I was like, okay, I understand, but like, why don't you want somebody to take a guy
No,
on?
that's
You know?
the NL only league I'm in. That's the deal. It's like if you take a guy, if you take him in the reserve round, it's fine. He's a reserve, But you have to have at least a guy to take the guy's spot if you want to move him to the IL. So you got to pick somebody else to swap in for that guy. Like, you can't just move the guys to the IL. Otherwise, you got to wait like I don't know, whatever. Normally, like at least the first weekend or the first 10 days till the first free agent period to replace them.
This was
So if you
two and a
take
half
too many
years,
IL guys,
you
you
know?
can't take too many IL guys. Basically, you only got three reserves, so the most you can take is three IL guys. Otherwise, you're gonna have empty spots.
Well,
Yeah, I know
before
they all
we
do it different.
before we go, unless we're going to go to a part three, I just wanted to ask you, put you on the spot, and ask you like, what do you think that you do that works, that you feel comfortable sharing, you know, with your pigeons here? But
Uh,
you know, you've won it what 3 years in a row? I think that's right now.
yeah,
You're undefeated this year, and I'm just wondering, you know, obviously you're doing something right. It can't just be. It's not just random. Like, well, Phil's just had a good spring here, you know. So, what do you think
we
you do
can
like
try.
that other people don't do besides following it like a hawk or something like that? But what do you do like just in general? Do you think that you
Yeah,
want
you
to
can
share?
tell
You
by
don't
the
have to say.
transactions like that. There's that part of it, paying attention is part of it. But I think one of the things, and that's part of why I woke up here, because it correlates pretty well to what we do in the beer league. Not exactly. So
What
I'm
does
not looking at batting average or stuff like that. You know, I'm looking at guys that are like most guys in the league, top of the lineup. I don't want anybody that's like, like you said about platoon guys. I don't want platoon guys. Feel like in this league, because we can do daily moves, that the entire waiver wire is kind of your bench. And so I don't want to pay for anybody or worry about keeping somebody who's at like replacement level, you know? And so I really just focus on, it seems silly to say, but like the best
Uh-oh.
players. Like,
Uh-oh.
and I don't mean just like the very good. I mean like the elite. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference there. Like I don't want the guy who's like a top 40 guy. Like, I only want the guys that are like the top 20 guys or the top 30 guys. And I really try to make a point of constructing for that. Um, I guess part of it. I think also I try to always make the trade so that the other team gets better in the trade. I don't try to win trades. And I think if you're going to make a trade, both teams need to get good. I think that helps making deals because that both people want your club to get better. You don't want to like win the deal, like then nobody's ever going to want to trade with you. I think trying to not win trades is a big thing. It should be like, what do you need? What do I need? Okay, let's make a deal.
Yeah.
And I know that's different in a points league, but like a catcher for a starting pitcher or a reliever for a starter, you can do trades out of need in a points league too. Or a guy who's wants a cheap keeper for next year, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Later
Uh,
in the year. Yeah.
but I also think a big thing for me is everybody overreacts. And I still look at like the in-season projections, those like rest of season projections.
Yeah.
I use those a lot to make my decisions. I try not to look at like what they've done so far. I look at what, the Fangraphs, whoever it is, Bad X or ATC, rest of season, and I look at that and say, okay, well, this is who they think they are, and then make my decision on like if I think they're right or not. But I really try not to look at what they've done so far. And I think a lot of guys make a lot of rash decisions because they are looking at what guys have done. That
Well,
makes sense.
I know for me, like I don't look for pitchers, I don't even look at their actual points. Like 0%. It's all based on what they should have done. And there's problems with that too, right? But based on their, batted ball data. I don't go as far as exit velocity and those kind of things, or spin rates, or velocity. I don't do that, but I take the second tier, the middle tier. And so for pitchers, I don't even look at what they've actually done. So that's why I can pick up like a Kyle Freeland, and even after he's had it